All right, guys, welcome to my channel. I wanted to show you the Sixthreezero Tadpole, reverse trike, whatever you want to call this thing. So I've had a couple people comment on it. It's an ugly bike, whatever. I don't think it's an ugly bike. I like it. When I first saw the bike, I was like, I don't know, it kind of looks different because we're not used to them. So I can tell you in person, it's a beautiful color. The accent light blue on the wheels is awesome. The fact that he puts the tan seats on and the tan grips on really make the bike super nice looking. I love this. I love the fact that Sixthreezero really does classic looking bikes. They just look like they're out of the 60s and they look nice. They don't look like these modern bikes, and I like that. So, but I'm older. All right, so we're gonna go over some of the features on this thing. I'll get into it in detail. I did put a couple of things on this bike. I put a bell on it. I put some mirrors on it. I put a phone holder on it. That's all I've done so far. These are necessary things that I need when I'm going down the road. So I put them on for now. I may get the basket. He has a basket for the front of this. I may end up getting the basket for it. This is quite the bike though. It's got both front wheels have brakes on it. They're cable pull brakes. The back wheel has a cable pull brake on it also. So there's 3 brakes on this thing to stop the bike. So stopping the bike's not a problem. Again, it's cable pull. Would have liked to see hydraulics on it, but he's got this bike at a relatively inexpensive price for what you're getting. So 7-speed on it. Folding pedals, folding bike in the middle, folding handlebars. You pull a seat out. I can throw this thing in my car and it fits really nice. This bike is not a heavy bike. It's not a light bike either, but it's not a super heavy bike. This thing has a little headlight in the front and he's got a little light on the back. Now the headlight is wired into the bike. The light on the back is a battery operated one. So you got to turn it on and it's there. It doesn't brake light or anything like that. I would have liked to seen a brake light on this thing, and I would have liked to see it wired into the bike. I don't know why he didn't do that. It just seems silly not to have a light wired into it at this price point. The battery on it's only a 10 amp hour battery. I do believe he's going to come out with a bigger one later on. You can take this thing right off the bike and you can bring it in and charge it. It's got a key on it. The battery slides right out. This battery actually has an on-off switch on it, so you can turn it off when it's not in use and turn it on when it's on use. So you can bring it in. There's a charging port right here on the side. You can charge it in the house. You can leave this in your shed if you want, or you can just leave it right on the bike and charge it. So I wouldn't leave it in your shed though, unless you got air conditioning and heat in it. Batteries do not like the cold or the hot. Again, the handlebars fold down on the bike like this, so you can fold them right out of the way. And the bike, again, folds in half in the middle. All right, guys, this is what's unique about this bike. This thing is probably the only trike that I know of on the market that actually rides like a conventional bike, because when you go into a corner, this thing actually leans over. So here's the problem with that. The bike will actually fall over. So if if you have some sort of a disability that doesn't allow you to balance well, this bike is not for you, because you'd want a conventional trike with that can stand up on its own, because you don't want to hold it. But if this bike here the owner of the company calls this bike a transitional trike. So when you're going from a bike to a trike, you can buy this thing here and get used to it, and then I guess transition into a full trike if you want. This is a very unique bike. Like I said, I've enjoyed riding it on the road, and I honestly can't wait to get out there and ride it again. It's fun. It's an experience, let's put it that way. So it's different from the trike, and it's also different from riding a conventional bike. I can't explain it, but it's totally different. It's in its own little world, and I like it. All right, some of the downfalls I found on this bike so far. When you're sitting on the seat, it's very comfortable, but this backrest almost kind of makes you feel like you're getting pushed forward sometimes. I don't know if I really like the backrest on it, or whether just the seat itself would be better. So it's something I'm going to decide on. He does have a conventional seat for this bike if that was something that you decided you didn't like. So that's one thing that bothers me. The other thing that bothers me, the fenders are on this bike really well in the front, but when you hit bumps, they do shake all over the place. So that's a little aggravating there when you're driving the bike, especially up here in New Hampshire. We got a ton of bumps in the road. I am going to try to put a plastic rubbery material on the inside of those fenders. I put it on metal fended bikes that I'm going to take on rail trails, because all those rocks going up and sand hitting it quiets right down with it, and I think it may dampen these fenders, and that will be cured. One of the other downfalls is the bike is the front brakes on it kind of make it steer. If they're not balanced perfectly, when you hit the front brake on the thing, it may want to pull to the side. So it's not a bike you're going to ride with one hand, let's put it that way. It definitely requires riding with two hands. I would not suggest, if you're new to bikes, that this is the bike for you because of the way it rides. But if you're a relatively accomplished rider, you've got some experience, you're going to find this a very unique experience, and you're going to like it. I don't know how to explain it, but I can't wait to get back out there and ride it. I have unlocked the bike so that it does go faster. It's set at about 17 miles an hour when you get the bike, and you can unlock the bike. It'll do about 25 miles an hour now, so I'm pretty excited about that. The backrest on the seat is one of the things I'm not crazy about, because I feel like I'm getting pushed forward, but I'm not judging it yet. The fenders wiggling bug me, but I've had other bikes that they wiggle even worse on, so this is not bad. These are pretty, like I said, they're solidly built fenders. It's just they vibrate a little bit when you hit bumps. If you don't hit a bump, not a problem at all. And I think I can cure that problem also. Again, the brakes being a little unbalanced on the front, I'm going to try to work on that too, guys. I may end up putting hydraulic brakes on this bike, and we'll see if that, I think with the hydraulic, they'll be pressing even, but I don't know. So this bike's got some unique things on it. It's got reverse on it. I don't really know how you're supposed to use the reverse on the bike. I think it's probably because he uses the same motor setup on some of his other trikes, and they have reverse in it, because where this thing goes tips, it's not like you're going to just sit on the seat and hit reverse. So I don't really know how the reverse is going to help you, but it is there. It does have parking brakes on it too. I don't think he mentioned that on the website, but it does have parking brakes on it. It's a 7-speed, like I said. Now that I've unlocked the bike, I am ghost pedaling with it, but he has it set at the 17 miles an hour. It's perfect. It's got a 14-tooth on the rear, which is the smallest gear. That's your high gear. I am probably going to change it out to an 11-tooth, so that maybe it'll stop the ghost pedaling on this. So there are a couple things I'm going to do to tweak this bike to try to make it mine. Like I said, it's a keeper. This bike is not going anywhere. I love this thing, and independent suspension on it, which is great. All right, guys, this is the bike folded up. Like I said, the handlebars fold down, the bike folds in half. You could pull the seat out of this thing, and then you could throw it in your car. It is small enough that it will fit in my hatchback. This is a big plus for this bike also. All right, guys, let's take a look at this. The tourney derailleur here. I have never seen this directional pulley on one of these before, but it's there. It's kind of nice because it's got your screw here for adjustment right on the top. This is your freewheel here. It's a 14 by, not sure what the top one is. The motor on this thing's a 750, so you got plenty of power for this bike. Again, these wheels, this is a 20 by 2.25 directional tire on this thing. You've got the rims painted in the offset blue here, which is really nice. Your rack on this thing can hold 25 kilograms, and it's got this little spring thing on it to hold your stuff down. The rear lamp on this thing is a battery operated one, so it's not super great, but you know what? It's on there. Thanks for giving it to us, guys. The fender on this thing is metal, so that's good. Again, beautiful color on it. I like it. The seat on this thing has an adjustment for the up and down on the rear here. Again, here's the seat on the thing, very nice. It's got a telescoping post on this thing, so you can go up really high with this thing if you want. The battery, again, is a 10 amp hour battery. You charge it at this port. You can turn it on and off here with this little switch. This thing's got a really nice guard on the chain. and it fits in here really super nice. Nice job on the 630 on the side. I like that a lot. We've got a little block on the bottom so that when you fold it, it protects the bike. This locking mechanism here is different from any other that I've ever seen on a bike. It works really well. It's simplistic, but you flip it up, you turn this around, and then you lift it like this, and then the bike unfolds. So, and if you put it in, you press it down. So even with this thing like this bike is still locked, but then when you turn it around and you put it in here, and you put it like that, it's not going anywhere. But I have never seen one like this, and I like this lock. Pedals fold on this bike so that it takes up less room when you got it in your car. Up on the handlebars here, you have matching grips that match your seat. Awesome looking. Your 7-speed quick shifter here. I put the bell on it for the rail trails. I put some mirrors on it for the street. I got my cell phone holder, your screen's right here. You have your drive and your reverse here. Again, this bike tilts. If you can't just sit on it and back up, so I don't know how you're going to use this, but it's there. So you have your on-off switch here, so when you hold this thing down, your screen comes on. So we've got your 7 miles here. You've got 78 degrees. You've got your speedometer here. You got your pass settings here. You've got your motor current, which is being drawn here. You've got your battery display here, which is showing it full. You've got your headlight. If you turn your headlight on, now the headlight's on, the screen's lit up, so you can tell the headlight's on. And then the 33, I'm not sure what the 33 is. Probably the time in minutes that bike's been ridden. So this is the assistance here, which is set at 0 now, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this thing goes to 5, and like I said, I've already overrode it. That's something that's in the manual when you get it, and you can do it yourself. So that's what the screen looks like. I wanted to show you. So your throttle is right here, so you have a thumb throttle here. And your brakes here, again, they're cable pull brakes, but right there engages your parking brake. And when you let it go, it goes right there. Very easy to engage it. So that's nice there. So we got a parking brake on it. The same on the other side. Again, in, parking brake, and release. Piece of cake, guys. Nice. 630 is done super nice on this. I like this a lot. I like the color. It matches the wheels, and I like the way they did it. Super proud of having the name on there too, guys. So this is a safety feature here, so it won't flip down. You just push this thing to the side like this, and then you can bring this lever down. I'm not going to do it though. And then you come up here, and this is a telescoping so that you can raise this or lower it, so you can make it very comfortable for yourself. You could also adjust these bars back if you wanted to. The cable management on this thing is nice. I like it. It's simple. It's clean. I like it. The headlight on it is a little small, but you know what? It's sufficient. It works. If I end up doing night rides on this bike, I may change it to a bigger light. All right, guys, nice little symbol on the front here. It kind of aggravates me that they put it in the wrong place because I'm a very OCD person, and it bugs me it's off to the side here. If it bugs me too much, I may ask them to give me another one, and I will take that off and put it in the right position. So the front tires, I want to show you the tread pattern on them. They're much more situated towards street, but I believe that they would be fine on a rail trail too. I don't know how this bike would be on a rail trail, but we're going to find out. All right, these tires are Kenda tires on them. Again, these tires are directional also. And these tires, they are 16 by 2 by 125. A little over 2 inches wide, and they're 16-inch rims and tires on it. So these things are running 50 pounds. It says 50 to 65 pounds. I think I put 55 pounds in these tires. So the same on the back. Again, the fenders are on here, super solid built fenders. Nothing wrong with the way they attach or anything like that, but you do get that little bit of a rattle in them when you're going over bumps. All right, guys, 180 millimeter rotors on this, but they are cable pull brakes. So wish they were hydraulic, but they're cable pull, and they stop the bike, and that's what counts. We got nice little reflectors on both of them. On the front end on this bike, we have a upper control arm, a lower control arm on both sides, and we have a little shock in the middle that dampens it from swinging from side to side a little bit. So that's nice there. I don't know if it can be adjusted. It probably can. Yeah, sure it can, because I think there's a wheel here to turn. Again, Very nice on the independent suspension on this thing. I like it a lot. Again, it's a different ride. I can't explain it. You'd have to experience it. We have the spot on the front with the 4 bosses for the basket if I was to choose to get the basket, which I may do. All right, guys, we're cruising along at 13.5 miles an hour right now. I have it in pedal assist too. I am pedaling at the present time. But I'll block it up into 3 now. And 3's giving me a little bit more. But we're going up a hill. Hey, I'm going to hit the throttle here and see what it'll throttle to. We're going right along now. We're at 21 miles an hour, 23. 24 miles an hour right now, guys. On throttle. And I'm in pedal assist 3. So let's knock it up to 5 and see what that does. I don't think it's going to give us much more because I was out on it last night and I got 25 out of it. So we're at 23 now, 24 and a half. Yeah, 24 and a half seems like where it tops out. So you're ghost pedaling at that point. So that's why I said, well, we're cruising along at 24.5 miles an hour. Going up a hill now, and it's 22, 20, staying around 22 going up a hill. So again, we're up to 24.5 miles an hour. That seems to be top speed on this. I did override it, and apparently it will only override to that speed, but I'll look into it more. Not that I really want to go much faster than this. I think 25 miles an hour is plenty fast enough on this bike. It has, like I said, the steering's unique on it. I'm trying to show you now and swerving and stuff. But it is hypersensitive on the steering, so you don't want to steer too fast. And really on a bike, a conventional bike, you just lean to steer. And you leave the bar where it is. So if I just lean, I turn also. So I'm not turning, I'm just leaning on this bike. So it's acting like a regular bike, but it is hypersensitive. So it's something to watch out for. That's why I said this bike's not for everybody. I would like to see somebody with some riding experience buy this bike. If you don't have riding experience, don't buy it. My 2 cents, but do what you want. It's America. But yeah, this thing is, it's a good rider if you know what you're doing. This thing doesn't take bumps well because there's no suspension on it at all. Now I'm doing 23.5 miles an hour around this corner. And again, it's fine. I don't have a problem with the bike. I just think it is hypersensitive in the steering, and that's something you need to be aware of. All right, guys, I want to wrap this walk around on this bike up, and my experience with this bike is super positive. Again, word of caution to people that are not used to riding a bike. This is a totally different experience. It's not a trike. It's not a bike. It is in its own class. So you need to be aware of that before you buy this bike. If you think you're buying this bike because it's a trike, it's not a trike. Again, if you've got experience, this bike is super fun. This is my ride of choice right now. I go downstairs and it's like, I want to take this bike out. So it's a whole different experience. You've got to experience this bike to understand what I'm talking about. I want to say thank you to Sixthreezero for sending this bike out. Dustin, thank you very much for giving me this bike. I've enjoyed it, and this thing needs a little tweaking, but this thing is going to be something that people are going to be talking about.